You guys saw this, the second, we got our second. Beautiful. Yeah. We have like, too. These are the new. Yeah, this is the brand new one they inked out this year, and it is so much more information. So. Yeah, go ahead and pass it around. Welcome, you guys. Good morning. How is everyone? We have another busy day today, so welcome to the party. I'm glad to see everybody's faces. If you have not signed in, please do so. That's how we're tracking your Bolt dollars. So sign in the back and you get credits for your Bolt bucks. Please do that. Otherwise, Emmy is gonna come find you. Right, Emmy? We told you. And I'm scared of her, so you shouldn't take all right, so we're gonna jump in right away this morning. We can get signed into it's okay. How is everybody doing this morning? It's not like going back to school. Yeah. You should open them up, right? Keep yourself in there, like why he's meant to. What we're passing around here, and we're getting everything set up. We're passing the 2 edition to the 2.0 edition of the Millionaire Real Estate Agents. If you're wondering what this looks like, if you've seen a playbook before. Okay, because the playbook is one of those features that I think that you got to take a real opportunity to look at. Your playbook, you guys are giving you the ideas that have worked for other mega teams. Level. So imagine that one of the teams that did this, they might have had 100 transactions from open house. How many of you would want 100 transactions from an open house? But what about community events, seminars, right? What about throwing client appreciation parties? These are all things that we want to do, but oftentimes we don't have enough time to really sit back and think about how we can do it. We don't do it. This is one of those instances, guys, where there's going to absolutely be an opportunity for you to implement a strategy that is in front of you. So you don't have to do much for thinking about it. You open the book, you pick one of the strategies for that specific lead generation or client engagement, and you do it. So if you haven't, guys, I have this. I know this is running back. If you guys haven't, I have these, a few of them in my office. You can check them out. I don't know if we're supposed to print out of it, but it doesn't say directly. Yeah, absolutely. So I picked up 4 of them just to have here, and I think they're one of the things that make us different is that we're not just telling you here's the one way to do it. We're telling you we have some different ideas and thought on what you can do to implement it. So again, you guys, we're teaching you how to think and implement. We're not necessarily teaching you what to do, teaching you about what you could do and what you could implement. So check this out, you guys. I think this is one of my favorite things that we've done year over year now is putting together a book that is very, very specific to the market time. So check that out, MREA Playbook 2. You can also order one of your own if you still fit on the Red Label store. Are you familiar with the Red Label store? Okay, some of us are. So you can get your gear, you get your swag on there. So check that out. All right, Tuesday team meeting. This is your team meeting, KW. Let's kick it off. Ooh, Emmy, do we want to do Gratitude Day? All right, Emmy, come on up.
I loved it. Totally not work related. My girlfriend's grandbaby came home from the hospital, was born under 2 pounds and came home at 7 pounds yesterday. Love that. Anyone else? That one.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for teachers. My little 5-year-old started kindergarten, and my 7-year-old started 2nd grade, and my 7-year-old is extroverted and excited and wants to talk to everybody, but my 5-year-old for time with her teachers.
I love that.
guys, I had the opportunity to work with Chad Hare for the last 10 or 12 years. So you get a good life now. It's gonna be really good about you. And I've had the opportunity also to send a number of commercial referrals to Chad many, many times. And I just want to thank you again. Within the last week, I sent Chad another really good prospect, I hope. So thank you. We're lucky to have you around here. And I think I'm right, probably the #1 commercial guy in the entire.
Probably the #1 individual
Number one, not
agent in the North Central region.
the North.
There you go. We got one more over here.
Get that on video?
I'm grateful for my family. This last Saturday, my family hosted the engagement party for people to see. Had like 40 year
Go ahead.
I'm having a full coordination.
In addition, I am grateful right now because interest rates are coming down. And it would look like there's an opportunity for our clients, to get out there and start looking again. Also because of affordability. So that's a good news. That's some good news right now. When have the interest rates come down? We're at what, Mark, 6.25 today?
Yeah, lower if you're a first time home buyer, home ready, home possible, you get 5s.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. So that's something for us to be thankful for as well. We're gonna thank Mark, since he did that. And I think at some point in this meeting. Yeah, give him a clap for Mark. Mark has been talking to the Fed. He's been trying to help us. So good job, Mark. All right, guys, that was our gratitude Tuesday moment of gratitude. Let's keep it moving. While they're doing a little bit of that, I don't know what else is on the slides because I was not here early this morning to go over it, but right now with as of today, when we have 11 signed up for Global, 15 signed up for the whole amount. There's already 112 people signed up. Global, it's even went up. No, hear me out here. If you have not signed up for Bold yet, and you even thought that you should take it, this is gonna sell out before Bold, the first step. This will sell out, absolutely sell out. So why will it sell out? Maybe that's a better conversation for us to have, is that this is gonna be the moment where you can track back in your career that climb towards the top, simply because you're committed to the activities, you're doing it on a day-to-day basis, you guys. At a time when it is more important now for us to ever get into consistency on our lead generation, our follow-up, our database feeding, and Bold is gonna help you do that. I believe that this Bold will be transformational for you, one, because of the market and the timing, and two, because Hudson is simply one of the best coaches that I've ever had. Give yourself an opportunity to take the next step, you guys. This is the time, and this is Bold. All right. Good. Come on down. I am going to give you this. Everybody, can you welcome Jen?
Thank you for that today. Super appreciative of that. Wanted to kind of walk through how our office is different than most insurance agencies. We really invest in our customers for customers, want to give them the most bang for their buck, right? Insurance isn't cheap anymore. Go through what all those coverages mean for them. We do reviews. We'll go through other policies that they're getting, if they're getting other quotes, be sure that there's not any gaps in coverage. Because a lot of times people look at the premium. Not sure if you guys have seen, a lot of the insurance companies are now starting to switch where they're doing a wind and hail claim on top of their basic deductible. I heard Progressive in the last month switched to a 2%. So if somebody has a higher value on their home, their wind and hail deductible is gonna be a bit more. Seeing some come in at about 10,000, which is huge, right? Especially first-time home buyers, being sure that they understand all of that with them. We like to be involved in the community, meet with our customers in person. We like to do policy reviews once a year if we can, if not 2 years. Yeah. Any questions?
When did health claims, are you seeing that on existing policies or on new policies?
Both. It's hard to say if they're doing it, at renewal. So like Progressive, for instance, starting last month was doing it. Not sure if they're just starting it with renewal and then it's going to be on every from there. Not sure if you've seen a lot of their coverages. They're usually bare bones in terms of that stuff. But other ones are switching over to like a $2,500 wind and hail deductible on top of it. So carry higher deductible, give you lower premium. And then you add that $2,500, somebody could be looking at paying $7,500 for the phone. So the insurance companies in the.
You should probably mention as well that I don't know if it's just State Farm, but some insurance companies are actually not insuring HOAs at all.
Correct. Yes, a lot of them are bowing out on any condos, townhomes, anything like that. I believe effective January 1st, there's a handful of insurance companies that are pulling out. Not sure if they're going to do non-renews or bring other people in, or just not writing any new business in terms of that stuff. State Farm is, we're still writing those. We can still do up to a $7,500 loss assessment. Some of them are capping out at like 5,000 or 10,000, which then, as you all know, kind of leaves the customer in kind of that area where they're going to be out of pocket. And if they don't understand what that means for them, that could be a huge difference. A lot of people who are retired are moving into those types of communities. That could be a huge impact on them in their purchase.
Especially with the new wind and hail deductible. I know that in my HOA, our retail deductible is 5%. So on the loss assessment on my townhome, my loss assessment is $20,000 because my portion, your portion on units are in your billing. So if you have the opportunity, or if your client has the opportunity to still get that loss assessment, tell them to max it out as high as they can. Because you typically launch in a place where they end up having.
Well, in this way, then they don't have to keep looking at reviewing and being sure that they're up to date on what their loss assessment is. So we always recommend going higher, start at 50,000, and then it's kind of that bigger conversation with the customer, what looks good for them. Also, in terms of condos, right, it's stuff in, a lot of them don't carry adequate coverage for their actual condo unit. So if they had a loss, repairing or replacing the interior, they could be without adequate coverage if they had damage and how to do any of that. So we really like to look at not only homes, the condos, townhomes, what do you need to cover so you understand? Insurance isn't cheap. So if you're going to pay more, know what it's going to give you for coverage, like presenting that as, for instance, wind hail claim, right? Somebody gets that $7,500 bill, you're worried about your annual premium. What's that going to look like for you when you all of a sudden have to pay that out of pocket? So, any other questions?
Why are insurance companies pulling out HOAs?
Just because of the loss with it, they don't want to, either A, they're not allowing people to carry a loss assessment greater than 10,000. Right. Just part of it is just the big catastrophes. There's so much give or take on the size of it. So this way they're just pulling out of in the Midwest. Yes.
Could you speak to, obviously insurance companies are pulling out of places like California and maybe other places, but we're also seeing, insurances get very expensive here as well. And I'm also hearing that there's companies considering pulling even out of Minnesota. Could you speak to premiums
Yep.
here who might be maybe leaving Minnesota or rumored to be leaving Minnesota?
Word nationwide. Which one? Auto owners is pulling out, isn't Select Care? Select Care is pulling out, which is the branch of American Family
All moving out of
in
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Yep. Not sure if they're doing the same in Wisconsin or anything like that, but we hear rumblings of ones that are pulling out. State Farm took their premium increase on homeowners already, so we've already taken that increase. All the other insurance companies are starting to take that now, so.
So what would you estimate your premiums have risen in the
I wanna
last?
say it was about $400 to $600 this year. So not a ton, but give or take, you know, what that means for you, right? That $400 or $600 could feel like a lot.
And that assumes a what for a deductible? I'm assuming you're seeing deductibles increasing as well?
Well, we're looking at that one. A lot of people like to carry the $1,000 deductible because that's less out of pocket and you're gonna have a higher premium. We have quite a few options still in the amounts of deductible percentage. We still have the $1,000 deductible, we still have the 2,500, 5,000, and then 10,000 from there. So give or take on what somebody wants to invest in that will decrease that premium. But we're usually still looking at about people carrying like a $2,500 deductible, because that's feasible for them. And then we haven't heard anything with State Farm of adding a wind hail claim on anytime soon either. Any other questions?
What's your dog's name?
That's Captain. That's actually Kathy's dog, so it's the employee of the month.
Look at that, mom.
Yeah, for the last 3.5 years. Apparently, we're all failing in the office.
Did you scare the dog treats? That's the question.
But you would like us to share a lunch.
Like that. Hey, Jen, thank you so much. Give an opportunity, you guys, number one, we want to focus on that, and number, on the relationship we have, the relationship they have with the people that we want to help, right? It's good to have somebody that you can count on and go to, so thank you again for being here, you guys. All right, we're now going to pivot, even though I knew that we had both, I was talking about it, we're going to pivot to Bold now. Hudson Warren, the Bold coach. Hudson.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Circles on your.
Yes?
That's me waving at you after not texting you back earlier, so that's on me.
I just want to make sure you guys can hear because the audio on my end's a little funky, but you got me, right?
We're gonna turn it on. Can you turn it on? All right. So, Hudson, you're doing better.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you guys for making some time today. I really, really appreciate it. Nick, do you have anybody lined up to share their story about Bold, or no? It's okay if you don't. I just want to make sure.
I do have somebody who is willing to share her Bold experience. Her name is Jen.
That's good.
Come on.
Yeah, let's start with that and then I'll roll. So you have a chat with her, have her share, and then we'll go from there, okay?
No, we love being in front of the room. So we love.
Yay!
This is a bold moment today. So Jen, I'm gonna hand you the microphone, but really, what I'd love for you to convey is, one is you have the opportunity to have Hudson as our Bold coach. One, two, Bold has been a significant part of the change in your career. So just tell us a little bit about that.
So uncomfortable. Okay, you know what, honestly, I've done Bold a number of times, and it really is, I don't want to use the phrase life changing, but I mean, it really can make a difference in your business. It makes you humble, and it makes you kind of see things differently, and it's impactful. I
last year that I wanted to play bold all year long. So I'm not good with that. But it makes sense to keep it handy and revisit it.
Oh, hey, you appreciate it. I do, and I know what you're calling. No, Jen's fantastic because, you know, I know that you dug in and you want what's best for your business and you want to grow. And you guys, I'll give you my experience. I was at the Bold, yeah, you can. Jen is always willing to jump in and say things, so thank you. I did Bold as well. The first time that I did Bold was for software here, you guys. And it really did change my life. It was when we were coming out of a market shift that I stepped into Bold and had the best year of my career because of that. I also met some really incredible people who helped elevate and level my game up because they were sitting at a table with me every single week, because they were my accountability partner, you guys. So this is in my year of Bold coming out of the worst market, having no business. I moved into Bold, and that year I closed 37 short business. And so you too can have the same impact. Not that you want to move it there, you don't get that. Say, I know, you guys, the Bold coach in this case is coming back to us for the second year. Hudson, I'll give you the little pump. You guys, this is the best coach. We have great max coaches, but this is single-handedly the best coach that I've ever had. He's the right amount of stick and the right amount of care, right? He's a lot of love, but he's also going to tell you when you're full of it and when you're stopping yourself from your success. So Hudson, we're lucky to have you.
I love it. I appreciate the kind words so much, and your check is in the mail. So the first thing I want to do, I know there's some people in the room who do know me and have experience with me, and I know there's some that don't. So I'm just going to introduce myself, because why would you listen if you didn't know anything about me? So my name is Hudson Warren, and the first thing you should know about me is that I'm an active agent. I still work with the buyers and the sellers. I'm still doing what you do, which means I'm navigating the industry changes and the market changes just like you are as well. So know that I am still in it with you actively. And in that, I don't work alone. I have a team called the HomeWise team. We are an expansion team covering the west coast of Florida. I'm based out of Tampa. I am a MAPS coach. I love being a MAPS Bold coach. It's the coolest professional job I've ever had. It is by far where my passion lies. And I've done that for about 5.5 years. I am a coach at the market center level, and I do things a little bit differently than the traditional PC coach. I take fresh cappers and I help them move their business into mega status. So I help them go from, hey, I made it, to let's go to the next step. I'm a former team leader. I'm a real estate investor. I own a title company. I'm married. I got 6 kids under the age of 14. My life is big and loud and crazy and wild. And, you know, I've got 3 full-time jobs basically. And I don't work more than 40 hours a week. And that's like almost my religion. So, and I don't share that with you to like make you feel bad. Anything I share with you, it's to paint opportunity, right? I know that the average real estate agent works crazy hours and is pulled in 72 different directions on any given day. And when you are really clear about what you want and why you're doing things and your direction, you can take more control of your life and live in that freedom that you were probably hoping for when you got your license. So it's important to keep in mind. Now, Nick, help me out. I'm happy to hear answers from the room, and yet I can really only hear whatever's in a mic. So I'm curious, you tell me, what is the market like where you guys are?
Oh, it's a great question. The market is kind of funky. We're seeing movement in certain areas and certain price points, right? But take that same price point and move it into a different area, and we're not. We're seeing significant multiples on homes that are in communities that are highly desirable, but in homes that maybe aren't, or areas that maybe aren't having the same draw, we're not getting the same action. Our monthly supply inventory is what, 2.4 right now, Tom? 2.4, so we're up with inventory, meaning homes are staying on a little bit longer. Yeah, that's our market rate.
Okay. So, you know, I don't know what the consensus is in the room. I talk to a lot of agents, and I'm hearing a lot of things that I would say concern me a little bit, because a lot of agents, and a lot of them top producing agents, are buying into this idea that, well, you know, it's a weird year. So, you know, the fourth quarter is going to be super busy. I'm finding a lot of people, and maybe not you guys, who are not acknowledging the reality. Here's the reality. If you look at real estate historically, for as long as it has been tracked, it is 5 to 7 years up and 5 to 7 years down. We appreciated for 13 years straight. That's double where it should be. So while I'm not predicting doom and gloom, nor am I wishing for it, what I want to make sure people understand is that I don't think this is a blip on the radar, and I think funky is a good word, and I think we're gonna be funky for a while, and that's okay as long as we're doing what we need to do to adapt with the market. Now, of course, you have that. Now you got to add in this, which is all the NAR changes, right? So we've got a lot going on that are easy to perceive as negative, and it's going to be really important to get ourselves in an environment where we are focused on the positive of those things, because there's plenty. I mean, look, the NAR changes, it's a gift. And if I just annoyed you by saying that, I would invite you to look at your mindset, right? It is a gift. It is an opportunity for us to decide what we are worth rather than somebody else. It's an opportunity to prove that we're professionals. And it's going to be great. And the market share, the market change thing, guys, if you haven't read the Shift book, read it. If it's been a while, read it again. This is our time. The shift in the market is when we get to take over market share that is virtually impossible to lose when the market gets, such a silly word, good again. All right, so it's all good things, and yet we've got to at least acknowledge reality and not put our heads in the sand. And what I want to do is I want to walk you guys through an exercise that's really designed to do just that. I could give you some awesome script to go convert a listing, or I could give you some great way to lead generate, and you have umpteen classes a day to teach you that. As a coach, I feel like my biggest impact that I can offer you today is a change in your thinking, right? Because if we don't think differently, we can't get things differently, all right? So we're going to go through an exercise. Now I'm going to ask a question first. Let's say that after this meeting today, you were going to go on a vacation. You're out of here. You're going on vacation and you are going to drive to your destination. Now you are going somewhere that you have never been before. It is multiple hours away. That's what you're going to do. Even if you are the most stubborn person in the room, which is normally me, I'm going to take a wild guess that you would put an address in your GPS and not wing a multiple hour drive. Would I be accurate? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Now, when you put an address in your GPS, what is the first thing, and Nick, you can tell me what they're saying. What is the first thing your GPS has to do in order to get you to where you desire to go?
You gotta put where you're going.
Well, once you've done that, once the address is in, what is the first thing the GPS has to do to get you there?
You know where they are.
I heard it. I heard it. So the GPS has to figure out where you are, where you're starting. Where you're starting is actually more important than where you're going, because without that piece, you cannot get to where you desire to go. The exercise that I'm going to walk you through right now, I need you to understand that that is what this is. So in other words, you don't need to get all flustered if you don't like the things that we find right now. The idea is I want you to be clear and aware on where you stand at this moment so that you can get to wherever you desire to go, regardless of market conditions or industry changes. Blech, right? So I'm going to ask you to get something that you can write with. All right. It could be a scratch piece of paper, doesn't matter to me. It could be the Notes app on your phone, whatever it is. Get something out that you can write with. And I'm going to prove to you why I am not an art teacher. All right. I'm going to ask you to draw 3 circles, 2 at the top, 1 at the bottom. It's like an upside down bubbly triangle. That is a technical term. All right. So draw 3 circles. All right. Just do that. And then you are going to label the top 2 circles. We're going to label the top 2 circles. All right. The first one, you're going to label business. The second one, you're going to label life. The business and life. Now, before we go into this, I want you to write something down wherever you can take a note, somewhere on the page, not in the circles, right? I want you to write something down. Honesty is the fertile soil from which we grow. Honesty is the fertile soil from which we grow. We as humans are wired to avoid reality. Like, we're so good at it, right? And I'm going to ask you just for today, just in this moment, don't do that. All right. Let's just get real with ourselves so we can get right with ourselves. Okay. So let's look at your business first. And if you're a high D and you want to work ahead of me, don't listen to everything I say first. Okay. I want you to rate your business as it stands today. So what do I mean? I know you got some great things you're about to implement. So you know in 3 to 6 months, it's going to be great. No, today. I know that 3 months ago it looked different. No, today. I'd like you to rate your business on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best and 1 being depressing. All right, rate your business on a scale of 1 to 10, and you cannot choose 7. 7 is a cop-out. Tons of studies have been done. 7 is that answer that's not too good, not too bad. So we love it. No 7s. All right. Rate your business on a scale of 1 to 10 as it sits today. Do that now. It is very likely the first number that came into your mind. So just go with it. Don't overthink it. Once you have that, I'm going to ask you to move over to the life side, the life circle. Now we're going to do the same thing for your life. You are not a real estate robot. You have family and you have friends and you have likes and dislikes and hobbies and health and wealth and travel and whatever, right? Your life outside of business, I want you to also rate that on a scale of 1 to 10. Same deal, you cannot choose 7. 7's a fluffy answer. We don't like fluffy answers. You should have 2 numbers, all right? 2 numbers. Now I'm going to ask you to multiply, and listen to me carefully. Nobody make fun of your neighbor if they need to get their calculator out, because guess what? You haven't been in school for a while. It's okay. I want you to take the 2 numbers and multiply them against each other. So business times life equals, and whatever that number is, I want you to write it in the lower circle. All right, do that. Don't judge it. Don't just write it. Now, Florida is not known for their wonderful school system. So I'm just going to do a double check. 10 times 10 in Minnesota is 100, correct?
100%.
Thank goodness. So your scale of opportunity is, you could have had a number as low as 1, because 1 times 1 is 1, or you could have had up to 100. So it's anywhere from 1 to 100. That's what you had the opportunity for, and yet you have the number you have. Go ahead and write one more word in that lower circle, above or below the number. I want you to write the word me, M-E. It's September 10th, and on an opportunity of 1 to 100, that is your current number. That is where your business and life has put you right now. All right? There's no right or wrong about it. It's just where you are. It's not permanent. It's very changeable. And you might love it. You might hate it. You might be somewhere in the middle. Okay? Now, I'm going to ask you some questions you don't need to answer out loud. I just want you to think. Okay? As you look at that number, I want you to ask yourself, do you feel it? And if the answer is no, I'm going to ask you to just lower that guard a little bit. Go ahead and feel it for a minute. Whether it's a feeling of relief because you love the number, whether it's a feeling of, oh gosh, like I don't want you to stay in the yuck for long. And yet sometimes we got to sit in the ugly in order to get out of it. Okay. So let yourself feel that number. And then answer for yourself internally. Do you like the number? Some of you probably do. There's probably quite a few that don't, right? Because we're human and we're all on a growth journey, right? Do you like that number? Excuse me. And probably one of the more important questions you might answer today would be, are you ready to change it? Like, are you ready to take control and change it? Because here's what I know. Your business, you have 100% control over. Your life, you have control over. That's about it. And yet you have control of those 2 things. The market does not determine your business. The interest rates, the NAR forms, none of that determines your business. You determine your business, right? Your life, there are some things you don't control. There's a lot that you do control. You can control the direction that you take your life in. So that number, if you don't love it, you now have an opportunity to change it. And it's like silver platter style, right? Because you have bold coming in October. And I want you to hear the sincerity in my voice. And there's some people in the room that have been with me that can vouch for me if you don't believe that I'm sincere. Like, I don't think there's been a more important time since 2009 to be in a bold room. I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg for market changes. And goodness knows the NAR changes are distracting us, and our industry as a whole has been totally, I don't have a nicer word, crapped on for the last 6 months by the media. It's a rough time. And it would be really easy to get sucked into the wrong environment and the wrong way of thinking and the wrong set of actions right now. And that's regardless of your level of business. Bold is an opportunity for you to insulate yourselves from that, to put yourself in an environment that is focused on positivity and growth, period, end of story. It is a 6-step, by the way, I did say sit, because I don't know if you all know this, the bold you're going to have in October is new, like all the way new, like stripped down to the studs, like we didn't put lipstick on it. The bold is new. Part of that is that we are going to 6 sessions instead of 7. So you have an all new bold being penned by Gary Keller and Cody Gibson. Cody Gibson is the director of MAPS. I trust you all know who Gary Keller is, right? So you have this opportunity to be the first people to take the new version of bold, to get yourself in an environment that will completely insulate you from all the negativity around, all the wrong actions, and allow you, instead of this, because I feel like I keep hearing about people wanting to survive the shift and survive the industry change. And I don't know if that makes anybody else want to throw up. It makes me want to throw up. We didn't get our license to survive. All y'all got your license to do something big with it. So let's harness the opportunity and let's thrive with it. Now, I'd like to share with you kind of my story with bold, and I trust you realize that I don't do it to be self-indulgent. I could just tell my story better than anybody else's, and I don't have to ask permission to tell my own story because I am me. And I share it not because any of you will have a mirrored experience. I share it because I want you to understand the opportunity that is out there if you choose to put yourself in this room. All right. So I got into the business in 2006. And at the time I lived in and had grown up in Southern California. All right. I don't know if you're aware, Southern California is expensive. So I didn't have to sell a lot of houses to make a good amount of money for a 25-year-old who got a real estate license, right? I would do open houses. I would talk to the people that I knew, and I knew on any given year, I would close between 10 and 15 transactions. My best year ever, it only happened once. I sold 20. Okay. And I did that for 8 years. I worked with who was there. I just kind of took what came, which is what most real estate agents do. We don't treat our business like a business. And in 2013, I found myself in a long distance relationship, and that is a story for another day. However, that caused me to move across the country, and I moved from a very large city with 7-figure population to Estero, Florida, that had 10,000 people living there at the time. And I knew nobody there except for the real estate agent I was moving in with. And I got to start over, and it was a challenge. And I did that at the beginning of 2014. 9 months go by, and I have sold exactly 0 houses. I have spent every dollar that I have ever saved. I have gone into a disgusting amount of debt. I have also realized that I moved for the wrong person and was in a very dysfunctional relationship that I felt pretty trapped in because I had no money. And it was just a really not good time in my life. And bold was coming. I had never taken it before. I had avoided it. I had some thoughts, and so I didn't take it. I was unemployable, so I decided to take it. And you know what? I had one credit card that wasn't maxed out, so I put it on that credit card. Best debt I ever created. I took that bold. It was an October bold like yours. And I managed to, in the last 2 months of the year, I managed to close 7 transactions, which may as well have been 70 because it saved me from being out of the business. All right. Among many great things that happened in that bold, I had an aha moment that I'm really grateful for because I feel like a lot of people don't get it at first. The material was amazing. The coach was amazing. The people were amazing. All of it was amazing. The reason I performed so well and felt so good was because of the environment in general. I think we can all agree that your environment matters. And I think in times where things aren't great, like now, environment matters even more. Okay. Because of that, I decided to keep going back. And I went back and I went back and I took bold 15 times over the span of 5 years, which I know sounds ridiculous to somebody who thinks a little more on the normal side. It also might make me sound like I'm a slow learner, and you're probably right, and that's okay. Here's what I know. I made more money every time that I went, and I liked myself better every time that I went. So let me map it out for you. 2014, I sold 7 houses. Prior, I had never sold more than 20 on average. I sold about 12 in a year. 2017, just 3 years into living in a new state and a new place, I closed 111 transactions. In 2019, I earned over $1 million for the first time, as well as I had the opportunity to become a MAPS coach, as well as that is the year that I got married. My friends, I don't share that with you for any reason other for you to hear opportunity, because 2 things you might like to know about me in relation to that story are that I don't have a college degree. I have a high school diploma. That was the end of my higher education. And I don't come from any money whatsoever. Period. So I live a life today that, goodness, 10 years ago when I walked into that first Bold, I couldn't even have imagined. And I live a life today that on paper doesn't make sense. I shouldn't have that. Like, way too many of us buy into this idea that our past is our future. So I shouldn't have what I have, and yet I do. I have a beautiful family that I can comfortably support. We have multiple homes. We have multiple streams of income. I get to leave and travel and impact amazing people like you and get paid for it. Like, my life is amazing. I get to live debt free. It's so cool. And everything that I am grateful for came from the Bold Room. Period. End of story. I had to do the work, and yet it never would have happened without Bold. So you have this giant opportunity to, whatever gap it is in your world, to fill it. Are you short on goals? We can still fix it. Is your life out of whack? We can fix it. Are you short on money? Do you need to get your wealth in order? Do you need to get your health in order? Bold is an opportunity to fix it. All right. I want to ask you a few questions, and then we'll put a bow on all this and we'll get you moving along with your day. Okay. I am going to ask you, you do not need to write these questions down, and yet I am going to ask you to write down your answers. I want them to be real. And there's something more accelerated when you write something rather than just thinking. Okay, so stick with me. Question number 1. Oh, actually, before I ask the question, I got to ask the question of Nick. Hey, Nick, in a dollar amount, what would you say your average commission is?
$1,000, right?
Do you say 10?
10,000.
Sweet. You know what? I love 10,000. It's the easiest math ever. Okay. So something you should know is the average agent in Bold, earns 11 pieces of business that they would not have had otherwise. Okay, so 11 times 10 is 110,000. So just know that there's a method to this question. All right. The question is, what would you do with an additional $110,000 between now and the end of the year? And by the way, before you let that little voice in your head that robs you of dreams, can you please just tell them to shut up and live in opportunity with me for a few minutes? If you don't believe that it's doable, pretend that you believe. Okay, what would you do with an additional $110,000 between now and the end of the year? Write it down. I'll write it down. Don't worry about what your neighbors think of it. Nobody's judging you. They're worried about themselves. Once you have that, the next thing I want you to write down is who, other than yourself, of course, who would it impact? And what would it do for them? Like, how would it change things for them? So who would it impact and what would it do for them? Write that down. Be specific. Once you have that, this next question, it's going to require you to admit that you have feelings. So just get ready for that. Okay, I know we like to pretend. You all have feelings. So we're going to get in touch with them for just a second, okay? How would that make you feel? Having that extra money, impacting your loved one or loved ones the way that you are, how would that make you feel? Write it down. If you're still writing, go ahead and finish. I'm going to throw out the last question. It's a long one, just listen. What would your loved ones think? And by loved ones, I mean the people that you wrote down for the second question, right? Like, I'm going to assume you didn't write down the enemies you were going to impact. It might have been a person, multiple people, community, whatever it is. What would those loved ones think if you came home today after work and you said to them, hey, you know what? I had this awesome opportunity presented to me today. It was an opportunity to grow myself and my business and make an extra $110,000. And this is what I would have done with it. And, you know, this is how I think it would impact you and me. And I turned the opportunity down. What would your loved ones think of you? How would it change the way that they feel about you? The reality is that is what this is. You know, I'm going to give you a couple. I'm just like question heavy, right? These you don't need to write down. Just think with me here. I want you to answer yourself honestly, whether or not you are on track to hit every single goal that you set for yourself for 2024. Goals are non-negotiable. So are you on track to hit every single goal that you set for yourself in 2024? If the answer is no, it is a no-brainer for you to be in this bold. Do you get up every day excited for your day and ready to go look for opportunity? Or does it look different than that? Because if you don't get up excited every day and ready to go hunt for opportunity that you know is there, then you should be in that bold room. And Nick shared with you that this bold will sell out. Please hear me clearly. This is not a sales tactic. It will. Here's why, just so you know, so that you know there's validity to it. The bold that I did last year with you guys, we had 6 participating market centers. We had about 130 agents in the room for full bold. We have 11 participating market centers this year. 11. Some of them are giant. We already have, I mean, it was 116 last I looked. I'm sure we're over 120 full bold registrations. Maps cuts us off at 200. It is what it is. I have no control over it. Plus, I do believe that beyond that, it becomes too hard to control the room and you don't get to have a great experience. I have done a 200-person bold before. I can control you lovely people, so I promise you'll have a good experience. The great news is don't get freaked out at that number because we are in a space that can comfortably hold 200 people. The reality is, though, we still have 4 weeks until we launch. We are going to either be completely sold out or have this many seats left if we wait till step 1. So if you know that you should be in that room, it's going to be time to take action now. Now, Nick, I believe, do you have incentives for them to sign up today?
Go ahead. Yeah, that needs to come on up, and we're gonna talk a little bit about our incentives, so hold on, we're gonna go for it.
I like that I get to come on and talk about the things you win and the things you get.
You're all, put it all together, so thank you.
Love. Anyone who signs up today only, putting your name in a drawing, and you get to pick between one of the next 3 prizes. We have an battery pack in here, we have a phone, like the light, the ring light thing. And we have another,
This is an LED light so that you can look good on your camera.
your kid's head look. And then we have.
This is a battery pack for those of you that live farther away. You over there, you over there. Yeah, you got stuff. This is a battery pack. Keep your phone charged. Oh, and this is a rechargeable flash.
So you get your pick, anyone that signs up today, then you get to a drawing and you get to have your pick of what prize you want. Oh, sorry, for anyone on Zoom, if you sign up today only, I show up at 4 p.m. If you sign up today, we'll put you in a drawing, and you get to choose your prize.
Perfect. So are there any questions, and help me out because I can only hear you guys with the mic. Are there any questions in the room before I go in for it? Are there any questions in the room about bold so that you guys can make an educated decision today?
Any questions?
What's the biggest change with the new goal?
Hudson.
I heard it. I heard that. So I'm going to give you a very honest answer. I don't know. because they haven't given us the material yet. Here's what I want you to understand. The mission of Bold is the same. And yet, literally, when I say they're rewriting it, because I know we've said that they're changing it before, and it's been like changes, and yet a lot of the old stuff is there. Like, we're getting new Bold laws. Like, the Bold is being completely rewritten. Here's all I know at this point. Gary has come up, and by the way, they spent literal days locked in a room coming up with this, he and Cody. He's come up with a set of bold truths, he's labeling them. Basically non-negotiables that really go in business and life. This Bold feels like it's going to be very balanced between business and life, which I think is great because none of you are just real estate agents. You are also human beings living a life. It's going to be centered around that. Another big change that I know of, and this is really the only other one that I know of, I'll know more soon, I trust, and yet this is what I know of. Lead generation is going to look different. Every step of Bold will have 3 lead generation blocks. Don't freak out or get scared. Here's what that's going to look like. The early one, the morning one, is going to be social media centered. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to let you scroll social media. We're going to give you an actual plan to go use your social media to create leads for yourself. And then later in the day, we're going to give you an opportunity to do more traditional lead generation through phone calls and text messages. The last lead generation block of the day is actually going to be geared towards follow-up from what you picked up from those first 2 sessions. So that is all that I know. And you can either look at that like, oh gosh, that's a lot of unanswered questions, or realize this is freaking exciting that Gary is writing this Bold. And what I can assure you is that it will be powerful, or else Gary won't let us have it.
Absolutely.
What else?
Anybody else? They're all raising their hands to get signed up.
Okay, so then here's my question, and this is where I'm going to ask you to take a literal stand for yourself. If you know that this is what you need to do, I'm going to ask for you to stand up now, and your leadership will bring you a registration form. There we go. So now somebody stood up, so the rest of you can do it because you know you need to do it, and you know you're going to run out of time. So let's stand up, friends. Now, as people are standing up, Nick, you're at the front, so go ahead and give judgy eyes to the people who aren't standing up because they know they should be there. I'm totally kidding. I'm not actually judging you, and I know you should be there. What I want to make sure is Nick and Emmy, we're not letting anybody who takes a registration form from you, we are not letting them leave the room without completely filling it out so we can get it processed today so that agents don't fall into the trap that agents can so eloquently fall into of procrastination. I'm an agent, said with love. All right.
The time to discuss, Hudson was in our ALC meeting with us this morning. Our ALC committed to all being goals. I think it's really important. We may have volunteered.
So think about that. Think about that. Your entire ALC, the heartbeat of the office, the top producers in your office have committed to be there. Take that as your sign that maybe you ought to be there too.
The steps we'll be facilitating as an office is our own little accountability group within Bold here too. So planning on most likely right before the team meeting, touching base with each other, talking and going here at the office. So those numbers look like posting our numbers here, so we have an extra level of accountability on top of the Bold group too. So more details to come, but we're really excited to get this kicked off.
You are awesome.
Yeah.
Husband, I want to say one thing, and I think that this is what we're getting to. This isn't just about lead generation, you guys. There's plenty of courses you could take about lead generation. There are plenty of courses you could learn how to do, mindset. Plenty of courses. This is a holistic approach, you guys. If you're the person that's sitting there right now, or maybe you know somebody that isn't in the room right now, feels like garbage. They feel stuck. They feel afraid. They don't know how to tell their partner they're failing, and they're wondering what's next. This is a good opportunity for you if you're one of those people that's staying up all night thinking about what you're not able to do. And this is a good opportunity for those people in your life to give them that hand up. All of us have somebody that invited us emphatically. This is our emphatically. Show up, do this, you guys. If you've got the paper today, do it. Hudson, it's back to you.
Yeah, I mean, here's the only thing I just want to echo that. You know, it's funny, when we were getting the testimonial earlier and she said, you know, I don't want to say life changing. Yeah, you did, or else she wouldn't have said that. Like Bold is life changing. And you guys are the only people who have the power to make change in your business and in your life. And all of you have so much potential that I understand that some of you can't even see. And all you need to do is take one little step for yourself today, and we will work together to get through the rest of this. What I think the people in the room that took the Bold with me can tell you is that while I am not perfect and I do not know everything, my passion for what I do and for helping people is a 10 out of 10. And if you can just show up, I will literally fight with you, not like with you, like alongside you. Like I will help you hit the goals that are so big that you're scared to say them out loud, and I will help you find strengths that you know that you never even knew were there. You will not regret this choice. So I'm going to let you guys wrap it up. I'm going to let you grab registration forms from people. If anybody has a question that maybe they weren't super comfortable with discussing in a group forum, Nick, please just give them my contact information. I'm happy to connect with them and make sure that you guys make the best decision for you possible. Okay?
I have one question for you, Hudson. It's from our agency.
Yes.
Wanted to hear for what does it look like with a class of 200? What is it interactive, or how is that all?
So is the class is it interactive? Was that the question? It was kind of a little breaking up for me.
Yeah, I think what she was looking for, Hudson, is a kind of give them an idea of what a whole day looks
Yeah, so I mean, again, I don't have all the details. Yes, it'll be interactive. There's no way that Gary's going to take that out. So here's what I know. There will still be teams. So you're still going to be going through this together. The other nice thing is, assuming that things keep going like they're going and we are moving into step 1 sold out, we will get you in your teams from the start so you can kind of begin with that synergy and not have to wait 2 weeks to do it. So we'll get you going. It will be interactive. And that's kind of, to me, that is actually the difference with Bold. You know, there's so many great classes that can teach you all sorts of things. And I think a lot of us have that really smart bookshelf somewhere in our house or in our office. The difference with Bold is that Bold is about implementation. We focus on giving you what you need to succeed, and then holding you accountable to actually implementing it. So it's coaching and it's accountability and training and teaching. Training and teaching is great, and yet without the coaching and accountability, I feel like it falls flat for a lot of us because we just kind of move on with our day. So I don't know the full structure because, again, I literally, like, it's not a ploy. Like, I don't have all my material yet. In fact, I don't have any of it. I just have little bits that have been shown to me. I know that we're not getting rid of teams. I know it will still be interactive. And seriously, guys, like, I mean, I may have to like lovingly remind you a couple times, like I have done a 200-person Bold before. It will be fine. Like I can keep control of the room. I know you guys are all there for the right reasons. So don't let that part worry you, is what I would say.
Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you so much for what you do as a math coach and as a Bold coach. And we're ready to take hold with you. So I'm Nick and I'm Bold.
I love it, guys. I love you guys. I had so much fun last year. I'm so excited to be with you again and meet some new people from your market center. And my parting challenge to lovely leadership is please make sure you get these people processed today. And if you don't have time to do it, get it to my assistant and she will take care of you. Okay?
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Have the best day. Thanks, guys. Stay bold.
All right, guys. So as we're wrapping up, we have food in the back from our friend Ken City Farm. If you guys, oh yeah, we have broker conversation.
Okay, so there's another broker out there that's not on the form. They're taking the purchase agreement and they are just putting the bottom line and making it look like it no longer needs broker compensation, and then it is kind of getting it all being on the PA. Please reject it. Use the form as they were intended. We are not attorneys. I would have had English over the president to print it out. Very honestly, it's the executive system. they're crossing off the bottom line. That basically says that this is the difference to anything that was offered broker to broker. It's not clear, it's not right, do not let your seller mix up. Please, if you get an offer like that, enter it, and we have. Now we're going. That's doable.
So I just let it go for now, because it's already
You
gone.
don't have better. But please, do not accept, counter, policy your broker compensation, that's what you already handed out. Don't put it in the PA, you can't have that broker flying around out there. Thank you.
Thank you again, really appreciate you staying up on this. All right, guys, let's put the back. Anything else in? I think almost everybody in here owns. So that's awesome. Thank you guys. Have a good day. Get some food. Go help somebody today.